Hello.
Hello.
We are here. This is Madison.
Hello.
And Elle.
Yes.
And Elle MacGregor.
Hello.
So I'm sitting down with the three sisters. They are putting out a series of books called P3, The Inevitable Truth.
Yes.
The first book is about pain, or it's called Pain. Second
Yes.
book is Power. Third book is Peril.
Yes.
So exciting.
Yeah.
So I'd love to start off by just talking about how the concept came about from you guys.
Okay, well, we were 13 years old. Elle and I were. Maddie was 16.
Yeah.
And we had just quit dance, and it was summer. We didn't know what to do.
Yeah, because dance consumes a lot of your time as
Definitely.
you're dancing.
Yeah.
Totally.
And we were competitive, and we'd been dancing for 10 years, so it was summer, and we had nothing to do all of a sudden. So my mom came up with the idea, and she just kind of pitched it to us. She said, you know, you guys should write a book if you're bored, because we were extremely bored. We had no idea what to do with ourselves.
But she said we should write it about 3 princesses.
Okay.
So we kind of were like, no, that's kind of lame. Like, no, it's
Seems
you
a
like you
bit-
can write it,
Yes.
you can do that.
I
but
even
no
tried it
thanks.
out. Like I
We
took
tried,
the
yeah.
first draft and I tried to like write it, and it didn't really turn out how I wanted it to. So I consulted with Mavelle,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
and from there,
We made something ourselves because
yeah,
princesses wasn't really what we were interested in.
For sure, yeah.
And so it turned into a bit supernatural, very mysterious.
Very cool.
Yeah, with
And, yeah.
3 strong female leads. So the 3 main characters are based off of the 3 of us. So the first character, the 3 main characters' names are Mavelle, Rose, and Kelin.
Okay.
So Mavelle is Madison, Ava, and Elle, all put together in
Oh,
one name.
yeah.
I love that.
And then the second name is Kelin, which is my middle name, Elle MacGregor. And then the third name is Rose, which is Ava Rose MacGregor.
That's your middle name?
Yeah.
That's
so,
my middle name.
Oh my
God! So when you read the book,
Yes. I
Relate
can relate to a character.
Yes, you can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very
so,
cool.
yeah, we love that. That was actually the only thing that has remained the same in the novel that when my mom had mentioned the book to us. So she said, you can name it, what did she actually?
well, it was princess related, so that's where
Right.
the P came from, and then the 3 was
Yeah.
because there was 3 sisters, and then it just
Yeah.
kind of stuck.
Yeah.
And we just always called it P3
Yeah,
every time.
we
We're like,
always
let's work
did.
on P3.
I think it originally was like our code name for it. So like we'd go to coffee shops and we didn't want anyone to like steal our idea or something.
It was
so
really
it was
funny.
silly.
thought
We
it
were
was
young,
great.
and we thought
Yeah.
people were going to be trying to get our book.
yeah, trying to
For some
steal our
reason.
ideas.
Code name.
Yeah.
It was
It
super
adds
fun.
to the mystery a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it literally
exactly.
just came from us being born in the summer, and it went from our mom just suggesting something to us actually wanting
Yeah.
to do it, and
Yeah,
it turned
and then-
into something.
And then
that
once
was ours.
we started brainstorming everything, we realized how absolutely much we loved it. We
Cool.
loved it so much, and we got really passionate about it. And we saw we'd pull inspiration from all different photos on Instagram
Mhm.
and all these and just different movies, different TV shows. We realized we've always loved storytelling, which is funny
Yes,
because
we had.
our whole family, every Friday we have a Friday movie night. So
Oh.
we all watch a movie together.
That's
and
so
we
fun.
have
Yeah.
pizza and popcorn, and it's been a thing for our family
Yeah.
forever.
Forever.
Even in my dad's
Yeah.
family, when he was a kid, they did the same thing. So it's never
It's an old
wavered.
tradition in the family.
Yeah, it's a
We
tradition in the family.
really love entertainment.
Amazing.
In movies, and so I mean, you're an artist too, and like what was really cool was an inspiration we got from writing this book. Spoiler alert, guys, is that all 3 of us actually, but I'm just speaking for myself. I was absolutely terrified of losing my parents as a teenager. It was like a really weird phobia I had.
Yeah.
Right.
And I started to explore with Ava now what it would be like at our age, at the time we were 13 and 16, what it would be like to not have our parents. What it would be like if we lost our parents. What would that be like? The
Right.
grieving process,
Yeah.
who would we live with?
Mm.
Who would take care of us? And then we set these characters, not in Toronto, where we're from,
No.
but actually in Norway. And somewhere that, our ancestry is actually from Norway, so it's kind of cool.
Oh, okay.
And then the
Yeah.
other side of our family, my aunt and uncle, are from Italy. So
We
we
love Italy.
set it in Europe
Mhm.
and kind of explored there because we always had a fondness for Europe, and our lookbook pictures were
Yeah.
inspired by there. And so we kind of
Yeah.
explored what that would be like if it was almost like a simulation of what
Yeah.
we would be like in
Right.
that situation.
Yeah.
Very
in
cool.
writing the book.
Yeah, like even I mentioned before, the characters' names are based off of us. Also, the characters themselves are
Very
based.
much like us.
I always
based off
say
of
they're
us.
they're heightened versions of us because
Yeah.
obviously in a character,
There has to be
they're-
drama.
yeah, there's a lot. They're more dramatic, and I
Yeah.
in a way.
Well, I don't know
yeah.
actually.
I don't know.
Yeah,
like each bitch. Yeah, but there are. Yeah, we definitely played with like our own personalities and like kind
Right.
of
Yeah.
like because we're all very different, and we thought that
yes.
we'd bring that into the story because why not? We
Yeah.
all complement each other, and we're the three of us
Yeah.
together. We find it's kind of a comedy almost. Well, not the book, but the three of us together. It's
Yeah.
like
Interesting dynamic.
it's
you
an
know?
interesting
Okay.
thing. Yeah.
And we wanted to show too. I don't know, like rambling on from that.
No,
one
that's okay.
question.
I know. We
But
Continue. I love
we
this.
wanted to show to a different relationship with sisters because I don't know if like
Yeah.
you've seen in books and entertainment. It's typically the siblings, and actually not just sisters, but siblings are always like fighting and they're on the
Yeah.
same side.
Yeah.
And so we wanted to depict something that was different because that wasn't true for us.
Yeah.
We've always been. We
Very
always say
family
sisters
based.
by chance, friends by choice.
Oh, that's so nice
Yeah.
to hear. Because
But-
like I also have sisters.
Yes.
Yeah.
And being able to have like, and you guys say like you have family nights.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
connecting with your family.
And that's the thing
Exactly.
too.
It's so
We
beautiful.
based it a lot on our family, and it was hard to write because it's really sad thinking about your parents
Yes, for
going. But we just thought having like a positive family dynamic in a story for once
Was
would
so
be really
different.
refreshing,
yeah.
and especially
Yeah,
because
I
we
love that.
have that. You know,
Mhm.
so
we have it, so we
why not
we
use
know,
it?
Yeah,
Yes.
we know
Yeah.
what it's like, and I feel like not a lot of people can
Do.
experience that close
Yeah.
family relationship,
Yes.
that strong relationship with your family. So we wanted to bring that to a story because we feel like pretty much no one else has,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah,
It's
we
very
enjoyed
special.
writing
Very
about
special.
that.
Yeah.
And also with regards to relationships too, like again, we wanted to highlight the male characters are amazing as well.
Yeah,
And we wanted to
exactly.
highlight strong females, but
Mhm.
also strong
Yeah.
males.
Yes.
Yeah.
and how they
having
can complement
That
each other.
dynamic in
Yeah.
the story as well, because
Mhm.
we've grown up in a household with my mom and dad, and even with our cousins and like our family and our close friends, like we've always had very strong female role models and strong male role models. And
Yeah.
we wanted to include that in our story as well, and
Yeah.
not compromise the masculine or the feminine. We wanted to see the two in their fullness and
Yeah.
working together as a team or battling it out with their different energies. So
For
that was
sure.
kind of cool to
Yeah,
explore
that
as well.
Awesome. It sounds like you guys have really like thought this out.
Yeah, well,
And that's
yeah.
amazing. Like especially as young authors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We could even like touch upon. So it's a very. It's not a personal story. Like it hasn't happened to you guys. You
No,
don't have
thank
your
goodness.
family.
Oh my
Very
Yes.
gosh.
yeah.
It's
Very
But you're
good.
like writing from a personal place
Yes,
of
for sure.
like what it would feel like as if I were in the story.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You know, the emotions that come with it, and I'm
Yeah.
interested to hear like what that process was like. Was it a little bit maybe depressing at sometimes?
Well,
Could it be sad?
yeah.
Or
The
was
thing
it like
is,
yeah.
we have a lot of
Yeah.
sad parts in our
Not to
story.
spoil anything.
No.
There,
Yes.
there is some very sad. There's a lot of loss.
Yeah.
There's a lot of
Yeah,
loss, and I
but-
think that
It also
Yeah.
hooks people into the story, I feel
Yeah.
like, too, though.
Definitely.
The thing is,
So-
also we're all big readers, so I get very
yes.
attached to
I
characters just
love
reading,
reading.
Reading
just
is the best.
reading a
Yes.
story.
Oh
so
yes.
we actually spent an entire summer outlining our story and outlining the characters, and you get really attached to them. So when we were
Mhm.
writing
Even we
sad
got
parts,
attached to our characters. Over
Yeah,
that.
exactly.
It
So-
was insane.
So, like, writing sad parts about them was hard, but we do little things, like we would listen to sad music while we were writing
Wow.
stories.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It was
That's
it was
really
funny though.
something.
We joke about it because we're like, guys, why am I actually gonna cry right now?
Yeah.
It was,
Oh,
yeah,
the good
we,
thing too, like especially with Abe and Elle, they're so funny, and they always keep it so light. Like,
stop.
Yeah.
no, it's true. Like, we were able to recover quick from it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
amazing.
But
Yeah,
but
well,
even
You could support each other. through
Yes.
the writing. Yeah.
through the writing.
Yes.
No,
No,
yeah.
writing. It was so trying.
Yes.
But when I was 16 and leaving dance, I was so committed to it, and
Mhm.
I went through a period of depression actually. So I was writing while I was depressed, and not that I would recommend that for anyone,
Yeah.
For sure.
but
yeah,
I was in a dark place, and interestingly enough, writing helped give me light in the darkness.
For sure.
So if anyone that's listening write, just like create. And I know you could definitely like.
Yeah, no,
say
like
that
Madison and I
you-
had this beautiful conversation over
Yeah.
Instagram actually, where we were just like sharing our childhood like connection to reading and writing.
Yeah.
And like I remember as a kid, you know, wanting to make stories up as much as I could
Yeah.
because it sort of helps you deal with
Yeah.
the dramas of being a kid, right?
Yeah.
And then as you get older, you understand it more. But I think it's so nice to just sort of let everything out onto paper.
Yeah.
Yes.
Whether it's good or
Definitely.
bad writing, you know,
Exactly.
it doesn't matter if it's good as long as you're releasing some kind of like
Yeah.
you know emotional buildup.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
Elle and I always joke the first draft that Maddie did was literally
It was
brain
awful.
vomit.
Was
You
it?
know?
It was.
I read it over. I remember writing it, and I was like in my feelings. And I was like,
She
this is
was
so good.
And Abe and I read over it.
And even though
Like,
read
Matt,
it, and
this
they
is
came
so
to me,
dramatic.
they
Like,
were
what were you
"What is up
thinking?"
with
Yeah.
that?" But it's great to just get it
she
out.
got
there.
it out of her
Yeah.
system. And
Get the first draft done.
Yeah, we-
and then,
we had 4 drafts of this novel.
we had 4 drafts.
Ah,
yeah.
nice,
So
nice, nice.
It's been created over 3 years.
Yeah.
Amazing.
So,
But
Yeah.
we're finally happy, really happy
Yeah.
with
Well,
what we've done.
It
Yes.
matured
Yeah.
with us, I think. 'Cause,
Yeah.
Again, it started as a princess story,
Yeah.
so it's matured a lot with
And also,
us.
we've
hopefully.
matured too.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
16. They were 13.
Mhm.
So
Now we're
I was
16.
in,
Yeah.
we
A
were
lot
in
can
grade
happen in
8.
3 years.
Yeah.
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 Especially
It was,
as teenagers, you know, you
Yes.
you
Yeah.
learn more about your life. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, so it was amazing.
hmm That's so great. That's so great. And you guys are inspired, you said, by J.K. Rowling,
Yes.
or Rowling, sorry, Stephen
time.
King, like
Yes.
90s nostalgia.
Oh,
yeah, big time.
Yeah, and like how
Yeah.
did that come into play with the book? Did it?
Oh
The
yeah.
book
Was it
is
direct?
It takes place in 1991.
Oh, okay, nice.
So
Yeah.
we love the old times. We love like,
You know, also all these shows, Stranger Things,
Yes.
all the movies right now are taking place in the 80s.
Mhm.
I love the 80s, but we decided to change it up a little bit, throw it in the
Put it in the
90s.
90s.
Why
you
not?
know?
Yeah.
I was
And
born in the 90s.
yeah,
it was
and late 90s. but
Yeah.
And we were looking back, and we loved
the
a
vibe.
lot. Actually, we looked into
Yeah.
the history of Italy and Sicily.
Okay.
We researched into the history of Europe and the world at that time. And ironically, we picked the 90s, and then we did the research after, which we did kind of
We'll
backwards.
just kind of have
And it all just kind
Yeah.
of fit together.
It
Beautiful.
was like a
we were like,
puzzle.
we really
Almost.
love this time period. We
Mhm.
really love the music, and our parents like always have a tradition. Like whenever we're in the car together, my dad will blast like 80s and 90s music. So and Abe and Elle
best.
are just like
Yeah.
they are
Love
so
music
they're music
machines.
buffs. Yeah.
So great.
We listen. Abe and I listen to music. I think Ava from the 40s, like from 40s
Nice.
music
I
all
listen
the
to
way
everything.
And I
till
know you
now.
have a really cool selection of music. Like you dance to really
Yeah.
cool music.
Yeah.
I don't even know how you dance to it, but it's so cool.
That's so sweet of you to say.
Yeah,
Thank you. Yeah,
for
I
real.
mean, you know, you want to be able to connect to as many different types of
Yeah,
music as you can.
exactly.
I like,
Sure.
especially as dancers, we understand music in a
Yeah.
way deeper level, and
Yeah.
so that's so
Yeah.
interesting that like from the 40s you can even
Yeah.
like connect to that.
Yeah, I think it also comes from my grandparents because
Mm.
whenever at their house they have a wine time playlist that I absolutely love.
Oh, it's amazing.
Yeah,
and they're just the
That
cutest.
sounds
man.
great.
And
Yeah, it's
amazing.
How many songs does Grandpa have?
I think
300 or
Yeah,
more.
he has his own
Yeah.
Spotify playlist,
Mm.
and they have
Fancy.
their.
And so
Sorry.
that was actually inspired us. You can talk about this.
Oh
now.
yeah, so
Yeah.
because of our love of music, my character Kelin, she is a music buff, and so that's something else that we took from ourselves and put it into the characters, and we like throughout the entire novel, she has a playlist, and it's like every song that plays relates to what she's going through at that time.
Mm.
So it's like we created Kelin's playlist. And it's actually on Spotify. We made a
You guys wanna
Spotify
follow
playlist.
that?
Yeah,
Oh,
you
I'm
can follow
totally checking
Kelin's
that out.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
can
Oh
follow
my
Kelin's
goodness, go check
And-
that out.
Yeah, so,
Yeah.
it's called Kelin's playlist, and it's actually 80s music because we had this whole thing where she grew up in the 80s and it's the 90s. It's 1991, beginning of the 90s. She still doesn't want to let go of the 80s. So
She's
she,
a bit of a snob.
she's-
She
yeah,
doesn't-
she-
she's not into the 90s.
yeah, she's not in the 90s, and she always bashes all the 90s music and all the. She's full out 80s music.
Yeah.
Whereas for Twin Rose is way more into 90s and pop culture and all that stuff.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so fun. And like creating a playlist for a character. How do
Oh,
you
yeah.
even like? You'd have to really get to know the character
It was
Yeah.
fun.
and like understand
It
like
was,
their deep dark thoughts.
Yeah.
And Kelin, too, I feel like is a very intense character.
Okay.
Out of the three of them, Rose is more humor. Mavelle's very protective.
Yeah.
But Kelin's
Yeah,
very...
as the older sister, I
yeah,
guess.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That we really pulled off of that. Like,
I'm very
off
protective.
of her.
Well, when I was little, I would go in front of their strollers, like go in front of it if any stranger approached. And I would just
No.
block the view.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
she
Yeah.
I remember.
I don't think the strangers thought it was sweet.
Yeah, they're like, bro,
Don't touch my sister.
Don't touch my sister. I was like, stay away.
The stranger was like, bro, let me touch the kid. I wanna carry this.
I didn't want anyone to.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Aw.
Yeah, I
But
always felt very safe.
yeah, so that's what my character is very much.
Lovely.
The one who's based off of me, Mavelle.
Yeah.
Is like
Yeah, so did you guys only write for your character, or
Very
did
funny,
you work
yeah.
as
Funny
together?
story.
Yeah, how did that work?
We actually, Ava, she would write for Rose's part because
Okay.
Ava's a very sarcastic person, and we wanted to put a lot of humor into it. So I can't write her parts because I don't have that sarcastic humor, the wittiness,
yeah, Ava has
all that.
amazing
So
humor.
she wrote all the humor. We'd be like, Ava, we need something humorous in here. She'd be like, okay, and she'd take over the keyboard and write it. We'd read it after. And so it was very much a team effort. And then I would write Kelin's parts because that was my middle name's Kelin. And yeah,
And then I'd write Mavelle.
she'd write Mavelle.
Okay.
So
So it was really cool.
So yeah,
Yeah.
we did write our
We
own
did
parts.
write our own parts. And
But
then,
you can sort
but
of
together.
use each other's strengths
Yes,
when you need
exactly.
each other.
Exactly.
absolutely.
Wow, that's
yeah.
so
Yeah, it was
beautiful.
very much a team effort, which I feel like a lot of people can't imagine.
Oops.
Yeah,
Got
go.
some guests coming through.
Sorry.
We're down in the basement of the Ryerson Theater School, so there's
Yes.
lots happening.
Yeah, lots happening. But yeah, it was really fun. It was very much a team effort, which I feel like a lot of people can't imagine that. All like how do three people write on one keyboard? Like, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But
very
it was
interesting.
it was cool because we always had the same vision, which I found really weird.
Yeah,
But
we
we-
always were on the same page.
And we had
Yeah.
Pun. Okay, very punny guys. Okay, so
We
and
love
have,
the humor here, don't we?
Yeah.
We're in the
Yeah,
right
we
place.
love humor.
Yeah.
So we actually have an Instagram group chat. What we do is we send each other photos and we're like, this is such a good inspiration for this character, and we're always like, yeah, and like we're not afraid to tell each other the truth if we don't feel like if it's something right, but like 99% of the time, like for as a story as a whole, we're on the same page,
Yeah.
which I love.
99%.
So awesome.
Yeah.
Like I just can't. Like I want to like sit in with you guys during the process. Like I would love to just like
I'll invite you over
observe.
sometime.
Oh my god,
She was
please
great.
do.
Yeah.
That would be so fun.
It was a really cool process, to be honest, because we outlined it together.
Okay.
Because we realized after the first two drafts we need to have an
Maddie's
outline.
brain vomit.
Yeah.
A proper outline and structure.
Gonna have to make sure that it's an
Yeah,
actual plot,
structure.
right?
Yeah.
Yes,
And so we like outlined it together, and that was so exciting. And then once we had the outline, even though we're at school, and then I would fill in. I did online schooling from half of semester of grade 9 until grade 12. So I was home,
Okay.
and I would fill in the outline and like kind of write the skeleton, and then we'd come home and Ava and Elle would read it over, add their parts, and we'd read it together.
Yeah.
So
It
that's
was.
how
It
works.
took a while, but it was definitely worth it. Ava and I were in school, still are in school, and we're in grade 11, and we always say how we're high schoolers by day and writers by night, which is kind of cool. And we found
why
time.
not,
Yeah, I
honestly.
know. Like we found time through exam season and all the stresses of school,
For sure.
and it was
so fun
rewarding,
for me
sure.
always though, because
It was
like
like
I said,
relaxing.
yeah, like I
nice.
said
Okay,
before,
good.
I've always loved reading. We've all always loved reading, and it was just something to really get excited about at the
Yeah,
end of the day.
Like being able to come home and just like throw away high school and try something new.
exactly.
Yeah.
And very professional too, like
Yeah.
for people who are
Oh,
still in high school, like
yeah.
being
Thank
able to
you.
do something like this.
Well,
you know?
Maddie's,
I'm sure
older.
you've
I
helped
set
too.
them up.
Yeah.
I set them up when they were 13.
She's done.
But they've taken
Yeah.
full ownership of the project now.
Amazing.
Yeah, there was one
Yeah.
point when she was like, okay, because we were in grade 8. Grade 8 is
So young.
a time.
Dramatic.
Oh my
And
God.
it's-
School.
yeah. So
Can I imagine anything about grade
yeah,
eight?
yeah.
I think back.
Yeah.
I think I
she-
listened to like Britney Spears and that
Yeah.
was totally
Yeah.
random, you know?
Yeah. But we were in grade 8, and Ava and I weren't as committed. We were,
Yeah.
dealing with the dramas of school at the time,
For
which
sure.
Yeah, and Maddie pretty much told us, she said, guys, like,
she was invested in it.
and if you guys want to do this with me, we'll do it, but if not, I'm going to take it and run.
Mhm.
And that's when I was like, you know what, we want to do it, That's the summer we sat down with the outline, and I haven't been able to leave.
Stop since.
I don't want to
Yeah.
leave.
We've been
So
100, 100, 100. Like
exactly.
300%,
I'd say,
I guess.
yeah.
Amazing.
I'd
Ever
say,
since that time.
yeah, and I'd say every single one of our sessions, I guess you can call them, ended up in laughter or excited screaming.
Yeah,
Or
and it was
something.
fun because we almost felt like this is because we really love music, so like we're gonna use a music analogy, but
Yeah.
we felt like a band. Like
Oh.
we felt like
Yeah,
a
girl band.
girl band, like doing a jam session every time we would write together, and it was
Amazing.
like
yeah,
art and story coming out, and also like bonding for us. And, like,
Yeah.
it was amazing.
Yeah.
It was
it
Yeah.
was
so fun.
so fun.
I mean, it seems like your relationship's grown stronger, and you've been
Yes.
able to like.
Yeah.
Again, like if you're gonna like writing more books after this,
Oh,
you
yeah.
want to be
We
able to lean on
definitely
each
want to.
other.
Yes,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
also too, my dad was concerned. I remember speaking with him, and he was like, it's difficult to mix business with family. But
Can
and
be,
we
I've
knew
always
going
thought
in that was a risk, and
Mhm.
and we've taken it upon ourselves to make sure that our relationship as sisters and business partners is to the very utmost it can be, like the best
Yeah.
it can be.
Yeah.
I think
Beautiful.
we've established something pretty.
Yeah.
We have,
Pretty
The thing is,
good.
too, Maddie had all that time,
Yeah.
when she wasn't at high school. And she's been doing so much, personal development with books, and she did so much research on how to write books. And
Yeah.
she really made the business part easy for Elle and I to take along, too.
That's great. Yeah.
Which I loved, and
Mhm.
thank you.
So thanks for
You
that.
guys made it fun. so.
You guys are so sweet. I just like feel so much love sitting here.
Oh,
with you. Honestly. So
Sure,
great, we're
sure.
great. Let's switch gears a little bit.
Yeah,
We can
let's do
talk about. I'd love to ask you about because you finished dance and you're not so much focused on that.
Yeah.
Coming from a place of art and changing all the way into writing, especially as young authors, did you find that to be a little bit scary? Did you find that because it's something you haven't really known for
good
a while?
question.
Like right as you
Yeah.
transition
Yeah.
out of it.
Yeah.
Because for me, like when I sort of have this love-hate relationship with dance, and I'm
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
hate it, and I just
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's very
I
stressful.
can
It can be a
relate.
lot, right?
Yeah.
How do you find a new outlet, something that you
Yeah.
can put all of your other emotion into that's still
Yeah.
artistic? I don't
Yeah.
know, maybe you can speak to that,
I-
Madison.
Yeah, it took a while, to be honest. Dance was my world. It was my identity. It was from the
It has
time-
to be, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're so committed, body, mind, spirit, like everything. What really helped me transition was honestly I think it was just listening to other people at the time that inspired me. And I just would listen to podcasts like these, and I would watch YouTube videos, and I would read articles,
Yeah.
and I was, because I didn't know what to do without dance, and I would create a bit, but I
Mhm.
felt myself gravitating outside of dance.
Mm.
And so I was like, okay, what's next? And so just listening to that, people online really, and then Avenel, we're so involved in
Yeah.
reading and
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Maddie's story is very different than ours.
Yeah,
Elle and I were
it's
so
very
young
different.
when we left
Yeah.
dance.
For
we
sure,
were
it's
12
different.
years old. We didn't.
What we were gonna miss the most were our friends there.
Mhm.
Yeah.
We were
Definitely.
12.
And for me, I was planning a career. I was planning
Yeah,
to
exactly.
be a professional dancer.
Yeah.
Mhm,
That was the
Mhm.
dream, and it felt like the carpet or whatever, the floor had fallen under me, and I was like,
Yeah.
where's my future now? And it sounds so
Yeah.
dramatic.
No, but I
but
can
it's
imagine it to be
like-
that difficult
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
you have you've put in so much time and
Oh,
energy
yeah.
into something.
Yeah.
And if it's just not going to work out, you have to take care of yourself.
Yes.
Mental health
Yeah.
is so
Oh,
important.
Yeah.
And I feel like art can help with that.
Absolutely. I was
Mhm.
going to say that helps so much. It's therapeutic
Mm-hmm.
when you do it properly.
Yeah.
It's very therapeutic, and it was.
I feel like, too, Maddie was, as we talked about, in a darker place after she quit dance. She was sad and depressed, and Elle and I could see it. We were young, but, you sense that in each other.
For sure.
And I actually do think that working together on this did build back our relationship. It's not like it was ever damaged or broken.
But when we were dancing, we were so, it's so intense.
Yeah,
and
we barely got to
hardly
see
saw
each
each
other.
other. We danced at the
Exactly.
same
Yeah.
studio.
And you
But-
didn't even have
Yeah,
chance.
we were
Yeah.
passing ships. We never saw
Yeah.
each other.
Yeah.
And
I can relate to that. for
yeah,
sure.
yeah.
So we
So-
went from building forts all the time with each other when we were kids.
Yeah,
You're sisters, and all of a sudden dance got
Never
really
saw each
intense.
other.
You're competitive. You're at competitions. you're practicing for what, like 7 hours
So much, yeah.
A day.
I think it was 23
Yeah.
hours a week. I think we counted it up or something.
Yeah, it was a lot.
So
And plus we were growing up. Elle and I were transitioning into teenagers. Maddie was still a teenager.
Yeah.
And so it really just helped us bond and keep our bond strong.
Amazing.
I feel like, because we had all that time together.
And
Yeah.
like the dance aspect for me anyway was almost like a grief in itself. Like I had to grieve I had to grieve losing that dream. I didn't have that dream anymore. And so that kind of gave a bit of inspiration too when we wrote P3, interestingly enough, like the grief aspect and not being a dancer, like to tie it back to like what it was like to transition from dance into writing and how that worked. It was almost like a breakup. It was like, and more than a breakup actually, it was like losing a family member to me.
I totally agree with that.
It was like losing, like
you were so
losing
invested.
dance, it's like losing a part of, like something died. And I had to grieve that, and I grieved that through writing.
Amazing. That's like such a, it's also a very healthy way to do it. I think some people can, go into something that wouldn't necessarily help them in the long term and put them into a more negative spot that they already are in. So definitely, and writing is so powerful. I find when I read, like a poem or something that is like the most beautiful prose, it really gets me into this moment of like, dance is there, but there's so much else that I can connect to, like so many other things that I can grab on and then put into my dance or put into something else. I mean, these podcasts that I have are just something that I want to do outside of it, so I can talk to people who are also in art.
Because dance, you don't talk with your words.
I want to speak.
It's so nice too. Like, who wouldn't want to come on this? Honestly,
Thank you.
I'm having so much fun.
I appreciate you guys coming down. It's
for
gonna be
sure.
great. Let's move on. Let's talk more about fiction. Because there are things that can be real life stories, very factual. But how do you get a reader for your demographic? Your demographic is 13 to 25-year-olds. How do you get them to listen to a story that's not real in their eyes? At the beginning of it.
The thing is, I know what I want to see in a story, and I think we all do. So that's what we tried to base it off of. What we would want to see. What we would want to read.
Yeah, we're the age category that we're targeting.
Right. Yes.
And Ava and I read a lot. Maddie reads a lot too. But Ava and I read a lot of the teen fiction. All that area. And
so we know what intrigues us.
For sure.
Yeah, and I found mainly for me it's the characters that get connected to. So that was also why we wanted to bring ourselves into the characters, because it would feel more real and you'd get connected to them more.
Okay.
And so that was for me the selling point is the characters, because if the characters aren't compelling in the story, or characters you want you feel connected to, then it doesn't really get your interest.
Yes,
And also, our hope is it will be super intriguing to our readers, because most books are written by adults writing for teens.
Yes.
And we're teens writing for teens.
Good point.
So
you're right
hoping,
in it. You're dealing with the problems.
So I'm hoping that does make a difference. I think it did. Even
writing,
while writing it, I was intrigued.
It's a very different perspective.
Yeah.
We're writing from like 16-year-old mind and the 19-year-old mind, not the 30, 40-year-old mind that you typically get. With all due respect, they're amazing writers.
They're what inspired us.
This is different, and we hope that it'll resonate with our readers as it does with us.
For sure. When I think back to like the young adult novels that I read, as your age as 16-year-olds, Twilight, the typical Hunger Games, John Green, but again, like they're all adults who have been through being a teenager, but not certainly in this decade. I wonder if like if you could, say something to them and say like, well, this is what we're missing in a young adult, like what would that be? I don't know.
Oh my gosh, we've talked about this a lot, actually.
Is it like the references? Is it the writing?
I don't know. The thing is, for like our novel takes place in the 90s, so the references are 90s. But I don't know. When I read, I want to go to a different place, and I feel like we do that. We take you to a different decade.
Okay.
And I like that in a novel. Not everyone does, but I don't know. I don't know what that one thing would be.
Yeah, it's really hard to articulate, but
Yeah.
I feel like it's this sense of, it's really hard to say. It's really
For sure.
difficult. Yeah, I feel like for us, we really focus on the sense of home.
Yeah.
And we found what we read that were about teenagers. Again, it wasn't very family oriented. It was the way the story was structured, where the teenagers were going, was very heroic. But we wanted to have different kinds of heroes, and we wanted heroes that we had never seen. There's some really great female heroes out there, but we haven't seen female heroes with a strong relationship with other female heroes. We haven't seen female heroes with a strong relationship with their mother and father, who are alive or who were alive at one point. We involve our family like they have an uncle, they have other friends from different backgrounds, and like what that is like, what that dynamic is like, and with boys too, their age, like I feel like we don't see a realistic depiction of teenage boys and girls. Ever. I've never seen that in movies and books. And so,
it's always so false.
So we really tried to make it accurate.
Amazing.
And based on our awkward, there's, I'm writing, and there's so many things that have happened in my life that I'm referencing in that moment of just that pure, awkward teenage experience where you're just like, it's just, you're so new, right? There's all these new experiences, and you're just like, oh, this sucks.
Yeah, and the different, it's interesting because it's the three different girls, three very different personalities, going through these different things.
So you get
all handle the same thing.
Same thing, just handle it differently,
but three different perspectives. So you the book's actually written in the three different perspectives. So you get a perspective from Mavelle.
Yes. Amazing.
You get a perspective from Rosie. You get a perspective from
through the chapters kind of thing, it changes?
And
Great, I love that.
as it developed, you could tell whose character its perspective is in, because you establish these very different characters, and it's so interesting. And that was one of my favorite parts writing it, is establishing just how different they were and how different they thought, going through the same thing,
right?
But they were all so different, handled it so differently, and thought about it so differently.
Well, and grief affects different people so many different ways, right? I mean, as sisters in the story, the characters probably would have a close connection, though. It's their family and their parents. But like you say, each character is different.
Yeah.
So their process or their aftermath of dealing with this loss, it's very.
That's the thing too. As we wrote it, we did want to make the sisters as different as possible, with still trying to have a good relationship.
Okay.
So that was difficult to write. Because you're trying to write three different things, make these people their own individuals, but it's the same three people creating them.
Right.
You know? But it was really fun to explore three different characters.
Yeah.
And I feel like we did it the best we could.
Yeah, for sure. As women today in this day and age, and as writers who are bringing out three beautifully strong female characters, maybe we could talk about Me Too movement, what that is,
You know what, that's such interesting that you said that, because at the time we were writing, the he for she movement was coming, and the Me Too movement had just happened, and
Wonder Woman came out.
Yeah.
So it was
Wonder Woman was
happening
huge
to the
for
max
us.
at that moment.
And it actually, Wonder Woman was huge for us. That was actually the summer that it really took off.
Yeah.
The summer that Wonder Woman.
And I loved. We were listening to Gal Gadot, and in reference to the Me Too movement and everything.
Yes. Yeah.
She said, what does feminism mean? And she said, I think it's freedom of choice. And that really resonated with me, and I think that really has been, subtly articulated in our book, is this freedom of choice for these three young female girls. They're very different, I think, than what you typically see. They're not perfect right away. They're not bold and
they're not
masculine.
princesses.
They're still feminine. They're still feminine girls.
Yes.
But they have strength and bravery
Amazing.
and courage and a lot of other great
And
qualities.
Another thing too is we're hoping that every girl can relate to at least one of them.
Yes,
in a way.
absolutely, yeah.
Great.
Because there's three different perspectives you're reading, very different girls. So we were hoping that you could at least relate to one of them.
Amazing.
Yeah, and I think it's, and to we discuss, a lot about, the politics that have been going on, and
It's horrible.
and and we really believe that it's communication between men and women, and we really wanted to emphasize that at a young age between these young characters, because I think that's where it starts and ends. It's communication, and being able to, and girls having the strength to know what they want. I think that's really important. I think that not enough girls know what they want, and they put themselves in situations, and then they get in trouble because they don't know what they want. They haven't established that boundary before they go into the room, before they go into the environment. I remember being 16, 17, and going to university parties by myself, and my parents would let me go, and again, freedom of choice, right? But I knew going in what I wanted out of those situations, and so I was able to there was a lot of times where I could have easily gotten myself in trouble.
With men who are not able to communicate exactly what they want to you.
Right?
There's like you say, communication is so important.
And it goes both ways.
Yeah,
it does.
And so we really wanted to, in the story, I know based on our desire, the ideal, whatever that we had in our minds, just what that would be like. What it would be like. We have two male characters who are brothers. One that's the twin girl's age, and one that's Mavelle's age. And we see the interactions between them as teenagers, and it's really amazing.
And the boys are different too.
The boys are very different.
Is it a romantic interaction or just friends?
It's not. It's not realized yet.
Okay.
It's a youthful,
but it's still kind of
nice.
Very innocent.
They're heterosexual men and women, so of course they're gonna,
It's a little bit of tension
there. But yeah,
it's kept very innocent.
It's kept,
which we want.
Yeah, and very realistic, I think.
Great.
It's not the instant love at first sight. It's not like that. But with regards to that, to the what's going on,
the feminine burst of energy.
I feel like when girls can show up, and I've seen this with my mom and dad, to be honest. In their feminine energy, they don't have to be like men. These girls aren't like boys. They don't have to be like men to be strong.
For sure.
And men don't have to be like women to be vulnerable and courageous. So we really wanted to show that a lot. Because when those two energies, that masculine and that feminine, that man and that woman, and it doesn't even need to be gender specific, right? It can be, the masculine energy, the feminine energy. When those two can meet in their fullness, there is power in that. And we wanted to show that because we have never seen that in a book. Ever.
That's so lovely.
Thank you. I think it's definitely there, and I think our more mature readers would be able to see that. But it's also still very fun and exciting and
it's
intense.
very subtle and
that I think we tied it all in pretty well, bringing all of that, what Maddie just said, into it, but not in a super obvious and this is, I don't know how to say that.
It's not in your face.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean.
It's not in your face.
Because then people would sort of pull back.
And especially
you can't tell me what to think.
The thing I love about art that's so beautiful is it's beyond the politics. It's beyond that. So it's quite lovely. Regardless of wherever you're at, it's an amazing story that anyone can enjoy.
What a great addition to have that, especially writing it in 2019. 2016, 2019. Yes. Well, it's a reflection of what happens. It's happening in the outside world, right?
Sure.
So that's coming from a very real place.
That was a great question. Very relevant.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah. I'd love to talk about it, especially with other women. Right? Great. And then let's just quickly talk about the Kickstarter that's happening.
Yes.
It's on World Book Day and World Copyright Day, April 23rd. So you guys are putting out a Kickstarter to you're able to purchase the book through it.
Yes.
So you can pre-order.
Okay.
The book, it's going to be international, and depending on where the countries, where you guys are, whoever orders, whatever country you're from.
Every country, in the whole world?
Yeah, it's going to be available.
That's so cool.
And so depending on that, you'll get your book depending. So the Kickstarter runs for 30 days.
Okay.
And the thing about the Kickstarter is that if we don't reach our goal, we don't get any of the money. And we don't get any...
Donate.
So please donate. Every little small bit counts. And we also have packages of donations where we're going to have additional books. So one of the additional books that you can get is How to Write a Book in High School.
Amazing.
How we did it. Because
Very cool.
we've actually spoken with a girls' camp, Camp Tanamacoon. I've spoken at multiple high schools and girls' workshops and boys' workshops, youth workshops.
Cool.
And they've asked, we've gotten so many questions from people as young as 5 and all the way up to older than us, how we did it.
Yeah.
How do you write it at this age while
Right.
still being in school?
Yeah.
And so we want to make that available to other people. So that's one of the little packages that you get.
Okay, nice.
with
I'll
the
link
order.
everything down in the
Yes,
description.
yes, thank you.
Definitely
Yeah.
to get that.
And then you also have one coming.
Yeah, we're gonna write a little bonus story.
Nice.
So that's gonna be an
Oh my
addition,
gosh.
which I think would be fun.
Yeah.
Because I've seen other authors do that. An author I love, Cassandra Clare. She has teen novels that I'm obsessed with, along with a lot of my friends.
Yeah.
And she does like cool little she'll send out, and they're just online, like an ebook.
Yeah,
and
all ebook,
so it's all like it's easy to access, that kind of thing.
Great.
And I just find them so cool. It's like a little additional like scene or little story that's
Oh,
part of it.
okay.
Yeah.
So it's like it's more information about the characters,
Yeah,
about the
exactly.
story.
Yeah.
So you'd want to check that out.
Yeah.
Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
And then we have a few more that are just being finalized. But
Okay.
there's going to be other
Yes.
packages with other cool.
And various
yeah,
prices, so
additions.
whatever people want to donate really helps.
Yes.
And whenever they donate, they're going to get something.
Yeah.
So.
for sure.
Yes.
Amazing. That is so inspiring. Like
Thank you.
just as
Thank
someone
you.
who loves like reading and books,
Yeah.
I'm so jealous that you're doing this.
Well, you
we
can
need
do it
to-
too.
We need to interview you. We will have your book out.
Yeah.
Coming soon.
Oh, when do I have time for that? Maybe once I finish school. But yes,
Yeah.
definitely. I think that this is so inspiring and definitely on my bucket list. So getting to sit with talk to you guys about it has been great.
Oh, thank you.
I have one more final question.
Yes, please.
Of course.
It's a mystery book.
Yes.
That is like, for me, mystery, especially if you're gonna write one, you have to like. There's so many different
Oh
plot
my
lines.
Oh
to
my
follow.
gosh.
Don't even get us
No
started
idea.
How
on
did
that.
that even work?
It's so
even-
fun.
it
I don't
didn't
know if you're
even-
familiar with the term of like Easter eggs.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So little like hints
Lots
almost.
of
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So that was probably the most fun part for me. I am obsessed with
Making
mystery
everything
novels.
connect.
Yeah.
Yes.
I've read.
Without giving too much away. Obviously.
Yeah.
Yes,
I've
yeah.
read Agatha Christie. I've read
Mhm. The best.
Cassandra Clare's stuff does
J.K.
have.
Rowling.
Yeah, they all have a little bit of
Stephen
mystery in
Stephen
it.
King.
Mhm.
But you know, these girls are trying to trying to figure out what happened to their parents and why. They were a normal
They were a
family.
wholesome family.
Yeah,
Mhm.
they were a normal family, and what happened. And so their path to figuring that out is really cool and mysterious and can have a supernatural twist.
Okay.
Just adding that in
Possibly
there.
maybe.
Something like
It
that.
was so,
Yes.
it's fun. And yeah, it's really fun. I don't want to say anything else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can't give it
Spoil
away.
it.
No,
It's so
for
hard.
sure. I don't
Yeah.
want to give it
Yeah.
away, but
Yeah.
yeah, mysterious.
You gotta read it to find out, guys. So
Yeah.
what
There's
the book?
twists and turns and ups and downs
Yeah.
and just everything in between.
Everything a good book should have.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. All right, so the book is coming out, available for pre-order April 23rd.
Yeah.
The first book,
Yes.
the Pain. It's called
Yes.
Pain. And you're in the midst of writing the second one. Is
Yes,
that
we
what
are.
I?
Yeah.
Yeah, we've
Yes.
already got ideas. We're
Amazing.
brainstorming. We
Yeah.
got music for.
We've outlined a few scenes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've already
That's so
written
exciting.
Like
first
as
scene.
soon as we finish
Yeah.
the first one, like okay, let's start a
Let's
second.
do more.
Like,
Yes.
ready.
Oh, that's so great.
Yeah,
exciting.
we're
So there's like, and then eventually there's gonna be a third as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's
So it is-
all gonna
yeah.
go together.
The plan is trilogy, but if we want to do more, then we're going to.
Yeah.
Trilogy's the plan.
Yeah,
Just
yeah,
planning now. Yeah.
Okay, so then people should be looking out for that then too.
Exactly.
Yes, on the horizon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great. Okay, and then do you have any other projects coming up? Maybe you can plug them if you'd like. Anything else? I know you guys are still in high
Yeah.
school, but
Yeah.
Madison,
I know.
anything for you?
Math class on Wednesday.
I work with a nonprofit organization called Team,
Yeah.
and
Amazing.
they're making the world a mentally healthier place.
Mhm.
And we spoke about a lot of topics relating to mental health. So if
Love that.
anyone
Yes.
who's listening is struggling with mental health, they can check out that resource. They can even go to www.myteam.org, and
Or
it's
just
actually
Instagram.
or even our Instagram at myteam.social. If you follow me on Instagram, guys, you'll see it in my bio.
Okay.
My
That's
tag
Madison MacGregor.
at Madison MacGregor.
Mhm. Everything will be in the description.
Yes,
for sure.
thank you.
Okay.
And it's a resource for support for the support.
Yeah.
And we are actually the website is approved by like some of the top psychiatrists in the world and everything.
Yeah.
So it's a great professionally done resource for
Yeah.
people who are struggling and people who are supporting those who are struggling.
Lovely,
so I really recommend checking that out.
Very cool.
Yeah.
And so you're involved in, is it an organization, you said?
Nonprofit.
Are you like the founder?
No, I'm not. Okay, funny enough, I connected with the founder, Mackenzie Drazen, through Instagram. Believe it or not, I saw her on Instagram. I don't even know how I came across her profile. So she's a model. She was an equestrian. She founded Team. She also has her own business. She's like a total boss.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Entrepreneur.
She's so
love her. I love her.
Nicest person ever.
She's
Very
more for like
cool.
Givenchy and she's amazing.
Yeah.
She's
She's amazing. And she actually, her sister died from depression when she was quite a few years ago, and so that gave Mackenzie the inspiration to found this organization. So a lot of things after her sister passed away clicked, and she wanted to provide a resource for people who were struggling now.
So important, so needed at this. You know, everybody needs to take care of their mental health for sure.
Absolutely, it's so important.
Yeah.
And I noticed, ironically, the more I took care of my mental health, the better my creativity got.
Yes, absolutely. It all adds up at some point, right?
Yeah.
So, if you're in that dark place, it's hard to get out of it.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes you can use art, but sometimes it's like art is so higher than what you want.
Yeah.
So you have to
you need something to meet it.
support. Yes.
Yes.
Well, that's lovely. Definitely check that out, guys. That's all for me. Is there anything else you guys want to talk about the book?
I just had a fun time.
Thank you.
It was such a pleasure talking
Thank
to
you so much.
Yeah, you're amazing.
I really appreciate it. Go check out the book. Madison, Ava, Elle, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hopefully we'll get to talk again soon.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Bye.